More than 500,000 people will gather in Washington on Saturday for the March of Our Lives. Students from the Florida high school where a gunman killed 17 people in February will lead the march. They're calling for gun control in the wake of the massacre. More than 800 sister marches are also expected nationwide. March for Our Lives comes as new analysis from the Washington Post found that more than 187,000 students have been exposed to gun violence at a school since 1999. Dave Cullen has been following the activism of the Stoneman Douglas High School students. He's also author of Columbine. He joins me now from Washington. Thank you so much, Dave. This study from the Washington Post found that an average of 10 school shootings a year have taken place since Columbine. That is an astonishing number.
Yes, you know, the 10 is horrifying. It didn't really surprise me because I've sort of been aware. The total did that 180-some thousand. That's kind of mind-boggling to me. I can't wrap my head around that. I guess we all should have done the math, but I hadn't.
Let's talk about the Parkland students because they really have a lot of momentum, and they're doing it in a unique way. Can you tell us about the preparation for this march?
Yeah, the preparation is kind of staggering, the amount of logistics. It was really interesting to me to see some of the, so I was in their offices last week and talking to a lot of them. I just got back from Parkland a couple of days ago. Some of the things surprised me, I talked to Jackie Corin, who's like one of the 5 leaders, and she said, I feel like, the logistics, we pretty much got that down already. Certain elements like trying to get more pop stars, they're doing interesting things like recording personalized videos to them, appeals, straight to camera, to each one personally about why it would matter to them to try to draw some people, because they've got a PR firm who volunteered, who opened the doors to a lot of big-name talent, but the kids still have to woo them to come in. So, that's one of the big things. And, actually fear about the stage. I didn't mention this in my Vanity Fair piece, but, Jackie told me, she's one of the leaders, the biggest political event or rally she's ever been to was the one after the shooting in Fort Lauderdale where Emma went viral with We Call BS. There was about 2,000 people. She's going to be, they're expecting actually over 1 million people. So she's going to stand on the stage of over 1 million people.
Right.
She's never been seen anything like that as a spectator before, plus this worldwide audience. So she's pretty nervous about that.
Well, I can imagine. Listen, it is a huge responsibility for these children, and let's not forget that they are children. And in your Vanity Fair article from earlier this week, you really talk about how these students in particular have held the media's attention for 5 weeks, and that this march is certainly, at this point, going to be the climax of it all. To me, it's almost as if it is this generation's Vietnam. They're protesting against policies and against politicians who have failed, in their opinion, to do anything. How can they continue to keep people's attention?
Well, they've got a plan for that. I was wondering about that, and I actually asked them, last week, I started to ask the question, and one of the guys, Ryan Deitch, finished my question, when the cameras go away? I'm like, yes. So, they've been hearing that question. And he said, we've already built our platform. Emma alone has almost 1.3 million, it's probably up to 1.3 million Twitter followers now. Several of them, combined over 1 million, and that's just on the one platform. So they're on, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram are the big ones because that's where kids live, and they're starting YouTube. So they feel like they've already launched their platform, and this is where a lot of kids get their news, and then so. We may be leaving them, but they feel like it's already going and it's self-perpetuating. And they have this amazing kind of writer's room. It's like an SNL, writer's room in there where they're incredibly collaborative. And they know, TV production, they've got the equipment because they've been doing this in school and just, making these videos and making the stuff that goes viral.
Absolutely.
And they only need to do one good material. And then some celebrity or person with, 3 million followers tweets them and that explodes.
They know the power of Instagram. They know the power of Snapchat. They know the power of the image. One thing also, though, they have sort of incorporated a phrase, the hashtag never again. When I first heard of that, I obviously thought of the Holocaust. That's a different generation. They are going to have to change that. Tell me what's going on there.
Yeah, so the Anti-Defamation League owns that and has decided to allow them to use it up through the march, and they can use it in their messaging. They're not supposed to use it as their name. And so officially, legal documents their March for Our Lives, although they don't want that to be in the past tense, so they've got kind of a clever play on that they're about to change to that I can't say yet.
Okay.
But I was talking about it with my editor. Actually, when we were copy editing the story, the copy editor said, like, how do they prefer it as one word or two, or with hashtags, like the New York Times does it this way, and Newsweek does it that way. And I realized then, oh, so they can't legally use it as their name, but we are all, the media are still using it. We still are, and so they kind of won that battle. Like, everybody's using that. I don't think we're going to stop when legally they change it to whatever. Like, we're going to still keep calling them Never Again. So I think that's going to perpetuate. Yeah. And 100 years from now, I think they're always going to be known as the Never Again movement. So,
or maybe enough. Look, the Time cover says it all, right? Hashtag enough. And I think we're about to see a very different demonstration and rally and movement based on the tools that this generation is very adept at using. Dave Cullen, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
Some Stoneman Douglas students will march in Washington Saturday for stricter gun control laws. We'll have live coverage of the event right